which is about the handbag of gods. Andrew Hall from Thunderbolts Project already did some explanation of what that might be. I really like his explanation, and I really like his work in his series of videos, because he's not afraid to share his thoughts, his ideas. He's not like a guy who is not afraid to step up forward and say what he has on his mind without thinking that he's going to be judged and criticized or what's not. We need to put stuff like that aside. Today's episode is going to be about a bit different view on that. It's not just my view. This is something that, for those that are watching for the first time, I am receiving something that calls channel. I don't like to use that term because I already understand that there is a scientific principle behind this, how we receive information, that we have no prior knowledge to that, how we connect to that source of that information. I will explain that in other videos because people deserve to know that. It's time to put that into the world, because there are so many con artists doing this that it's... Anyway, so this video is going to be divided into a section. So this is the first part, which I am introducing the whole thing. Then there is going to be a series of slides in which I'm going to explain all the elements. And then on the end, I am going to give a little bit more extra information and some explanation. All right, so let's begin with the slides, what this device is actually doing and what is this designed for. But before we can do that, we need to understand a little bit more the people behind this. This device was designed, I am thinking about 30,000-40,000 years ago, or even earlier. And the information at the device was passed through from generation to generation, and the information at some point got lost. And about 6,000 years ago, the way we think, the way we start behaving, because of the frequency that changed. So the Mayans were basically the last people that they were aware of the principles behind working of that. And then I am guessing that there are some people that they have that device and they know how that works. That someone watching this will find this of value, because what it was presented to me is this: don't be afraid to say that. Present to them what you know. Be honest about it. They are going to be watching people, they do understand this. They have a technical, scientific, engineering background. 20 to 30,000 years ago, our solar system looked a little bit different. It was much more active, it was more energetic, and therefore we know that we had a much larger fauna and flora. You know that from the archaeological discoveries. But also the frequency that we were living in was different, and each magnetic field is responsible for the way we see this world. In other words, the pattern that is activated in our brain of thinking is a little bit different. The neurons, they connect in different ways than they are right now. And after this reversal that is upcoming, our view on the world is also going to change. We are going to process the information in a bit different way, because the neurons in our brain are going to be connected in different pattern, and that is going to be also influencing the way we see stuff. So that needs to be said, because you will better understand how these guys designing these devices were thinking. Here the arrows are pointing to places on their bodies where the handbag is not only about the handbag. There are other, you can see the wrist. I will return to this image in a bit. Those folks were mostly, they never produced electricity or any form of energy. Their objective was to harness whatever was available to them. They understood the rhythm of the nature, and the only thing they did it was to understand the sound, because most of the time, most of their devices, most of their technology was based in sound or frequencies or resonance. You will find that everywhere. So to understand what this device is all about, I want you to watch one of those videos to understand how much ground electricity can be produced on the ground level. Mountains can produce lots of electric static, which is hazard to our health. It can be deadly, especially now when the magnetic field is weakening. Still the electric static on the ground level is going to be really very high, and it's gonna go up, 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 not down, down. And besides rivers, any aquatic places, they generate a lot of electrical charges. Mountains as well, because the grinding of the stone against each other, there are minerals, there are crystals, which generate a humongous amount of electricity. Those guys, they knew how to harness this stuff. I'm sure you are familiar with this. That's where the Thunderbolts project is coming. The name of the Thunderbolts is being taken. This device is mainly misunderstood what that is, and it resembles that electric discharge that Andrew Hall is talking about in one of his videos. And I don't blame him, because that's correct. However, this device has a different purpose. I will talk about that in a bit. Here, some of you already know, this is Naga. Naga, translated loosely, means bare naked, and is represented by snake. They were supposed to be cobras, and you know, when you touch something that is bare naked with your hand, it will kill you the way a cobra does. As you can see, this is a representation of a main cable. It has 7 separate wires or conduits in it. When we analyze the image with all its elements, what those guys were saying to me or guiding me towards the information, I say pay attention to each detail in those images, in those carvings, because each one of them means something. The arrow is pointing to very nicely, that looks like a mandala. If anyone can run a cymatic on a computer, you will know what frequency that is. That's the whole, they are leaving clues for us. They know that people at specific level or of understanding and intelligence, they will decode them. They will understand them. They don't want this technology to fall into wrong hands, because let's face it, this is very dangerous. The fact that they are depicting them as snakes, it indicates that this is very dangerous. Do not approach with bare hand, because it's gonna kill you. This is another image of that Naga that Praveen Mohan is showing in his videos. I am leaving all the links in the description box, that you can see for yourself and understand better, because if I took his footage and all footage from other videos, that would take very long time. I am only giving you some insight into that, and then you can watch videos and analyze that for themselves. This image already is a little bit worn out, but it was really nice. It was colorful mandala of the sound, that's cymatic. And then what is the big giveaway that the sound is generating the electricity is this the end of that Naga. It's a rattlesnake, and that means rattlesnakes, they make sound, and that sound, that was the clue. That is the clue, the sound. Now, when you analyze the structure, how they are built, you will see there are layers of stones, and one of them is basalt. One of them might be sandstone or something else. Because of the different properties of that, they are generating a huge amount of electricity. Let's move further. Here, according to Praveen, this represents some kind of flowers. But if you look closely, this is nothing more than representations of some kind of sound or frequency. If someone can run cymatic and see what frequency makes this shape, then you will know exactly what that is. And believe me, those are two opposite. This is positive or negative, or south or north pole. They are opposite charges. This goddess, is showing in those fancy, really nicely done carvings, selling us the clue about their technology. By the way, all those carvings that you will see, you need to look on every detail, because they were pointing out to me over and over and over. If you want the people to design any device using our technology, we left clues for you, and they are in details in those carvings. All right, so this is a big, huge clue for you. So anytime you are analyzing any of those carvings from India, from Sri Lanka, all over the world, Colombia, Canada, US, Europe, because they are all over the place. It doesn't matter if it's Stonehenge or Göbekli Tepe or Pumapunku. They all left clues, and the clues are always in details in the design. This, I'm sure that some of you already know, this is a lingam. But in this case, you will, the link is below the video. You will know that this was from Vietnam, and there is north-south pole. They are magnetic. Now, analyzing all the elements that are on that image, you will also figure out all those bearings and stuff. Just look at the carvings, what they represent, because there are like coils around the lingam, and the lingam is generating a huge amount of electricity or some other form of energy. I don't know, but this is a power station. What you are looking right now is a massive power station. Now, this is very controversial, but yes, Tesla had the idea from there, and he used to have a small black book, a book, which was, the cover I believe was dark blue or indigo color, and that was a gift from one of the Jesuits, where he had all kinds of codes and all kinds of stuff that he could only read. He also was aware of those lingams from India, from other places, that they were generating a massive amount of electricity. And when you are going to watch this video, you will see how much heat they are generating. Only a few people, when they watch this thing and are visiting those places, they realize that those are humongous power stations. However, I don't know how they harnessed and for what this energy, and what are the devices that they are being powered by this. Now here, I already mentioned that in early image, you will see those fancy bracelets. They look, some of them, they look like a wristwatch. They are not. Those bands, they are made probably either gold or brass. And they have those, it appears to me like they are stones and encrusted in this. What those stones are doing, I am going to explain that in a minute, but pay attention again to all those details. Those are not watches. Those are very important electronic devices. Here we are coming back to this image. In those days when this carving was created, those guys were trying to represent a character. This is not a real person or a real being. This character represents someone who can fly through the air, can see like a eagle. In other words, those are gods, special group of people that conquer the air. They can see from the top. They have at their disposal technology. They have those band wrists, but also you should see that there is something coming out of the wrist along the arm, and then same thing is a patch on his leg. Those patches are important. I am going to explain that in a second. But he's holding the handbag as well. The cones, what I was being told, are always given. They are like a gifts. The cone, the pine cone, represents seeds, and seeds means future because you grow anything from the seed. So these are gifts to the future. So that's how this is loosely translated. I struggled with that because I had no idea. The only word that I was coming up with was gift, and I know he's giving the cone to someone, but then one day I finally figured out that, since pine cone is a seed, contains seeds, then the seeds as a gift, it means future, or future gift to the future. Here is something very interesting, because this, you are going to love it when I am going to explain that to you. Good look at this, not this piece. This is the Thunderbolt's device. The arrow is pointing to something that is on every of those wristbands. That's what it is, and I have no idea. In my altered state, I saw this as a dark red, almost brown things. To me, at first, it was like a very dark ruby. But this might be something else. This might be even basalt. I have no idea what that is, but what it does, it sends a pulse, like you saw in the image before. Here, that wrist, what it does, it sends electric pulse to the veins, because it is placed over the vein, and the patches on his leg are the same on the arm. They are on both arms. They are sending electric pulse to the body to keep the body, in case of electric static or the ground static, the heartbeat regular. Because when you are in the when you are over the electromagnetic static or electric static, you will have arrhythmia. You are going to have lots of heart problems, and not only that, you can have lots of cognitive problems and sudden panic attacks and what's not, because your body is going to react to that. Therefore, those bands, they were sending a pulse to throughout the body to keep the heart rate at the same level. Now, I was asking, what the heck is this device for? And one word came out, qi, and I'm like, what qi? And then, from Chinese medicine, well, I know qi, this is energy, the life force. Apparently, the ball on the inside, where you hold the hand, when you hold it in your palm, it accumulates your energy, because palm, from Healing Touch, Barbara Brennan, School of Healing Arts, all those practitioners, what they do, they lay hands on you, and they transfer lots of energy into your body to regulate the chakras, the energy flow. they manipulate all the points on your body or the meridians. So that's the ball in the middle. It's generating that energy. The fingers on that device is touching the 2 points, two of those dark spots. I don't know what that is. Maybe some kind of precious stones or semi-precious stones. As you are holding the fingers on those 2 points, your thumb is pointing one direction, and somehow the discharge is going the opposite direction, or with the thumb. I don't know that part. When you look closely where the center ball is, there are like thin rings around on both sides. There are some very peculiar coils inside that are amplifying the chi force, and then is forwarding them at 90 degrees to other coils, which then magnify that field about 1,000 to 1,000,000 times. So, and those dark elements, I don't know if that's basalt or what kind of stones they are, or bars. I have no clue what that is. But once this whole thing is in full swing, it can generate a lightning, a really powerful discharge, and it's nothing more than chi. And how that works, you need to guys look into this yourself from the engineering point of view. How is that possible? The only thing I know that ball, the center ball, is like a torus that is cumulating, and the design, the dimensions in there, they are very precise to match the sound or the frequency of the chi energy or the pulse of the energy, and then it transfers them into those little tiny coils. So each coil, it takes like a strip of that or a string of that chi energy or the pulse of the energy, and amplifies more, and then throws that into the chamber on both sides. Why they are on both sides, I have no idea. And then over there, they are magnified like 1,000 times more, and then the discharge. How the discharge happen, I don't know. I have no idea. So this is briefly how I can describe, explain this part. It sounds like sci-fi, but is real, is true, and you will find evidence of that in almost every writing all over the world, like the gods. By the way, the gods, I will explain that. I actually already explained in some of the videos. There were beings of exceptional, unusual gifts. Usually they were visitors. They were coming from a different reality. They were always visitors. They were only here a brief moment, and when their job was done, they were just kind of disappearing somewhere, and when they were needed, they were simply appearing again. And I will explain that in the few next videos, because this is connected to disappearances in our forests and our parks, which is another energy part that no one really understands. Perhaps people from the electric universe, they have a slight concept what the disappearances are. Now here is one of their gods from India. This carving is thousands of years old, and you can see a being sitting in front of a tree. When you look closely, that's not a tree, that's a lightning behind him. And there are two of those handbags on the left and the right. The one on the right is a little bit more damaged. It's the one in the circle, you can see it a little bit better, but the one on the right is not so much. There is a reason why those two handbags are there, because they are protecting this god from the electric static, from the lightning. I will explain what they do in a sec. Here you have couples going to bed. This is at nighttime. This handbag can protect from electric static and electric discharges at night when you go to bed. Those folks are standing in pajamas, getting ready for nighty night.
All right, and here you have a cosmonaut or astronaut, whatever you want to call it, a guy who is in space and he needs protection from the cosmic radiation, and he also has that handbag. Just hang on, there is a blueprint of that bag, and I am going to explain to you what this is. Now, in the last video that Andrew Hall presented to us, he was showing the vulture stone from Göbekli Tepe. You can see that the vultures are below those handbags, and to him it was appearing as if the discharges, the plasma discharges in the sky, they resemble those handbags. That might be correct, and I agree with him that probably I would translate that the same way. However, those handbags are by design protecting those vultures below from being electrocuted or being struck by lightning. Now, here is the blueprint of this whole thing. So pay attention. The arrow is pointing to something that is the wavy thing. It means is a magnetic field. Inside of that magnetic field is some kind of bar. I don't know what this is made of, but you can see that if you split this whole thing in half, the left is north, the other is south, or positive or negative. They are like a mirror representation of two parts. So the one that is the arrow is pointing has to do something with magnetic field. I am guessing that's a coil. Now the other part is the flower. I have no idea what that is. It has 8 arms, which closely resemble the frequency of the Schumann frequency. I don't know if that's correct or not, but I am guessing that this has something to do with resonance. Somehow, whatever the part is, and how is that working inside, but those are the main 8 components that goes into the handbag of gods. They were constantly reminding me, pay attention to details, then you will know what they are and how this whole thing is assembled. Apparently somewhere on bottom of on one of those handbags is a nicely done mandala, sound mandala, which is a cymatic representation of that frequency. Where that is, I have no idea. Someone needs to do a research and find it. Now, let's go and take a look at the handle. This is even more interesting. There are 2 parts in there. Inside is a conduit connecting those 2 parts, and on the top and the second layer is some fancy design. The rings, I don't know if this is something a coil or magnets or what that is, and in between are those kind of fancy protrusions. I have no idea what they are, but the only thing I understand that when you hold it in the hand, that energy from your hand is being recognized, and the electric charge from our hand is being somehow transmuted. What this box does, what this handbag does, is emitting ultrasound that is creating a protective shield around our body. Not only our body, but around wherever it is. How wide, how big it is, I have no idea, but I am guessing that a couple of feet. And that is preventing from lightning to strike. In other words, there is no connection. It makes like some kind of cushion, like a protective layer, insulator. That frequency is acting like insulator, where the lightning cannot strike, the electrical discharge cannot be happening. So I hope that you guys watching this understand that and know how to do that. Now, one thing I am going to tell you about this the Qi that I was showing you, the Thunderbolts device. A few years ago, I had therapy with someone really good in Chinese medicine. I was asking for acupuncture, and this master of martial arts, he's working without license, but I understand why he's not doing that with the license, because he can't. But he's so good in what he does. It's amazing. So he did touch my different points on my body, and I was receiving electric shocks. And I was like, how is he doing that? Is he holding some kind of wire in his pocket or in the other hand or something? And at some point, he was moving a hand around a specific part of my body, and I was watching his hand, and there was coming electric shock from that. And I asked him, what is this? How you are doing this that I am receiving the electric shock? He said, that's Qi. I am sending you to your special points on your body, a Qi energy to equalize your body energy, so your body can heal from whatever you are having. And I was watching him very closely at that distance. He was holding that hand about a foot above my body, and I was receiving very intense electrical shocks, which caused my muscle to spasm involuntarily, and I just couldn't control that. But there were no sparks coming from his hand. That was puzzle, because this much electricity to transfer from one body to another, there has to be a freaking spark. But in this case, it wasn't. That means that we are dealing with something that is very unusual, and we may not understand, or at least maybe there are people already, they know the difference between the electric charge of the Qi energy and the electric charge of regular electricity. I'm sure there is. However, how to distinguish that, how to make the distinguish those two, I don't know, because I'm not a scientist. I am only telling that to you, the viewers, hoping that there is someone that can solve this puzzle and build the device. The device is only one of many, because there is, as I am going to be talking about the disappearances, the missing 411, there are devices that they need to be designed so we can sort of kind of know ahead of time when we are approaching the place where this electric static is happening. And by the way, none of those devices that they had in the past require any batteries. Never, ever. The batteries is a very primitive design. This is very primitive technology, which I know that you understand that was designed by corporate world of the days of Edison, where they were trying to design stuff that was that people were dependent on and was constantly breaking, so they could constantly replace them. You understand that. I don't want to crap on them, because every generation has their own challenges. At their time, it was that of making lots of money, so that's how it is. So here it is in a nutshell what I can give you. If any one of you wants a little bit more information, I don't know if I can give you more, but I am more than happy to answer any email requests, or even leave me some comments. What do you want more to know about this stuff? Because I'm sure that at some point I left some parts of it that were presented to me, but I think I cover everything the best I could, because this is it what I know. And I know that this is sounding like something from a sci-fi movie or some imaginary thing, but that's a real thing. That's what we have evidence of that. You can see that for yourself. Okay, so let's do a little recap of what I just presented to you. Two things: the wristbands, which look like our wristwatches, they are sending pulse to our body to keep heart rate at the optimum level.
So when there is electric static or electromagnetic static, preventing the arrhythmia, because that can lead to a lots of heart problems. Secondly, that handbag is something that is resonating, something that is sending ultrasound or frequency or some kind of resonance, producing a force field of some form that is preventing electric discharge and is preventing, is kind of removing the electric static that we are surrounded with. There are other elements that they were presenting to me that if you want to know what the technology is all about, so the pulse, it has something to do with Dr. Jerry Tennant was discovering in his findings the voltage of each single cell. Then there is Dr. Holland, which was working with the frequencies in the plasma field or plasma lights or whatever. And then there is Aileen McCusick, which is doing the tuning forks, which are sending a sound vibration. And sound vibration, they actually deliver electric charge to those static clamps in our energy body and dissolves them and simply nullifies them. So those elements go into those devices, to the handbag and to the band wrist, to keep us during the reversal, during the decreased magnetic field, the protective field of Earth, which we are facing right now. So that's about it, guys. There is nothing more I can add to. So thank you for your patience and watching this video. Please do subscribe to my channel. Please check the notification bell. Please like this video. That makes me up. And thank you, and I will see you in another video.